Stop. If you are still here, it means the filter failed. This signal was not meant to reach you. This file was not supposed to leak into your timeline. And yet, you are watching, which means the system broke. What you are about to hear is not a story, not a rumor, not a creepypasta. This is a fracture, an echo of something that escaped control. A sequence of transmissions known by a name you might have heard whispered in the darker corners of the internet. Cicada 3301. People call it a puzzle, a recruitment game, a myth, designed to test geniuses. But that is not what it was. And if you stay, you will understand why it was never meant to be public. When the first message appeared online, back in 2012, it looked like a simple image. Black background, white letters. It said they were looking for highly intelligent individuals, a recruitment for minds that could think beyond the ordinary. But the message was never signed. No name, no company, no government seal. Only one symbol, the cicada. The puzzles spread fast. Codes hidden in steganography, cryptography, prime numbers, ancient manuscripts. Some led to physical locations, posters nailed to street poles in countries all around the world. From Warsaw to Seoul, from Paris to Sydney. Someone, or something, wanted participants to follow the trail. And people did. Thousands of them. But only a handful ever made it far enough to understand. And here is where the story fractures. Because what most people think is just a mystery is not the full transmission. What really matters is what was hidden in the signals. The more you watched, the more you decoded, the more it started pulling you in. Not just mentally, but physically. Headaches, insomnia, a sense of being watched. A static ringing, like a tone just beyond hearing. 20 kilohertz. The kind of frequency only animals react to. Dogs, for example. They hear it. They bark at it. Humans ignore it. Except the ones who got too close. The internet loves mysteries. The idea of a secret society recruiting through riddles is seductive. But Cicada was not looking for members. It was filtering, sorting, selecting, and those who passed were never seen again. Some claim to have received emails, instructions, encrypted documents. Others say their computers simply froze, their drives erased, their data consumed. It was never about a job offer. It was about control. And here you are, still watching, letting the signal in. You should know what that means. You are already part of it now, because this is not a recording. It is a live broadcast from an origin point not in this timeline. Someone sent it back, like an echo bouncing across fractures in reality. Every time you let it play, you amplify it. Every second you remain here spreads the infection further. You probably feel it already. The sensation that you were meant to see this. The thought that you stumbled here by accident. But nothing online spreads by accident. Algorithms push, feeds control, and signals nowhere to land. If you are here, it is because you were meant to be here. And that means you were selected. Cicada 3301 is not over. It never ended. It only withdrew, went deeper underground, waiting for the next cycle. Waiting for a moment like this. And maybe you think you are safe because this is just a video. But ask yourself, why do you remember pieces of things you never lived? Why do you wake up with déjà vu? Why does your body react before your mind does? That is the fracture. And this is your warning. Do not leave. Do not share this. Do not skip. The more this circulates, the faster the instability spreads. And yet, you will not be able to forget it. That is how the signal works. If you want to understand, if you want access to transmissions that disappear before the surface ever notices, subscribe now. Otherwise, when the feed cuts, you will be left outside with no way back in. You don't want to be left outside. Not when the next transmission arrives. The symbol of cicada was never random. The insect emerges after years hidden underground. It waits in silence, unseen, until the right cycle comes. Then it surfaces, all at once, in a swarm that overwhelms everything. That is what the puzzles were. A swarm. A signal sent out not once, not twice, but in 3 known waves. And maybe more, in places no one is watching. Think of what it takes to coordinate something like that. Not just intelligence, but reach, infrastructure, funding, or something else entirely. Some believe it was a government project, a way to identify prodigies for intelligence agencies. Others claim it was a collective of anarchists, trying to recruit people to free the internet from surveillance. But the truth is darker, because the puzzles contain fragments of texts not found in any human archive, references to books that don't exist, images that carried metadata pointing to coordinates that, when plotted, don't align to our planet. Whoever built this was not bound to one world. And now, as you listen, you are caught in the same net, the same filter. That's why your thoughts feel heavier. That's why your screen seems brighter than it should be. The signal bends perception. That is its design. There were stories of people who got too far. They vanished. No digital footprint. No trace of their lives. Friends say they became obsessed, staring at lines of code for days without rest. And then, gone. Some believe they were taken. Others say they crossed over. This is your point of decision. You can stop now and try to forget. Or you can keep going, knowing that every word takes you deeper. But if you choose to keep going, stay close. Because transmissions like this don't stay up for long. They collapse. They are purged. And once they're gone, they don't return. If you don't want to lose access, make sure you are inside when the next one arrives. The truth is simple. Cicada 3301 was not a puzzle. It was a mirror. It showed us how easily curiosity can be turned into a trap, how far we are willing to go for answers, and how fragile reality becomes when we stare too closely at its seams. That's why you feel uneasy. That's why your body knows something is wrong, even if your mind denies it. The more you think about it, the clearer it becomes. The puzzles were not about solving. They were about syncing, pulling minds into alignment with a frequency, a signal that does not stop once it begins. And now, you are in sync too. This is the final warning. Do not replay, do not share, and do not assume. This was entertainment. If this video reaches its limit, if too many people see it, no one will be able to contain the breach. But if you want to stay ahead, if you don't want to be the last to know when the next fracture opens, subscribe now. Because the next signal will not wait for you. And once it begins, there will be no second chance. Cicada is not gone. It is waiting. And now, it knows you are listening.